Hey, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to make this video so that you could see the President-elect Donald Trump's comments at a recent Turning Point USA convention, and then the response from the Panamanian president afterwards. He was basically responding to the video of President-elect Donald Trump at that convention. And at the end of the video, like towards the later part of the video, you'll see the Panamanian president, he giving his talking points, and I translated it using AI to try to give you guys a context of like what he was saying, so that way you could see what he actually said in response to President-elect Donald Trump's statement. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it and see what President-elect Donald Trump had to say.
It's another example of the things we're doing and looking at. It's such a terrible thing is happening. The Panama Canal is considered a vital national asset for the United States of America due to its critical role of American economy, the whole world economy, and also national security. The Panama Canal. Has anyone ever heard of the Panama Canal? Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. A secure, he just said take it back. That's a good idea. Where do you come from, sir? He doesn't come from Panama. Oh, yeah, good. A secure Panama Canal is crucial for U.S. commerce and rapid deployment of the Navy from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific. It's an incredible thing, and drastically cut shipping times down to U.S. ports by days and even weeks. The United States is the #1 user of the Panama Canal, with over 72% of all transits heading to or from U.S. ports. Think of that. So we built it. We're the ones that use it. They gave it away. Considered one of the one of the great wonders of the world. The Panama Canal opened for business 110 years ago and was built at huge cost to the United States, and it really is big when you consider the lives and the treasure, the equivalent of $1.2 trillion today. You don't hear those numbers. 38,000 American men, almost all men, they went there to be construction workers and dig. They were diggers, and they were brave. 38,000 men died from infected mosquitoes in the jungles of Panama during the construction period. Think of that. We lost 38,000 men.
So the history, like history.com says apparently over the span of more than 3 decades, at least 25,000 workers died in the construction of the Panama Canal. Yeah. By the time France had abandoned the project in 1888, accidents and disease had claimed the lives of a staggering 20,000 laborers, according to the U.S. State Department. And then additionally, between 1904 and the end of construction in 1913, the United States recorded the deaths of 5,855 canal workers. When combined with the deaths from the French venture, it's estimated that it amounted to about 500 lives lost for each mile of the canal, which is just absolutely unfathomable for a construction project. So anyway, I was just kind of curious where those numbers came from, or what the numbers looked like. Let's keep going.
Teddy Roosevelt was president of the United States at the time of its building and understood the strength of naval power and trade. When President Jimmy Carter foolishly gave it away for $1.
All right, so it says in the Office of the Historian at history.state.gov, they claim that one of President Jimmy Carter's greatest accomplishments was negotiating the Torrijos-Carter Treaties, which were ratified by the U.S. Senate in 1978, and these treaties gave the nation of Panama eventual control of the Panama Canal. The High-Heran Treaty, negotiated with the nation of Colombia in 1903, allowed the United States rights to the land surrounding the planned canal. The Colombian Senate refused to ratify the treaty, but Panama was in the process of seceding from Colombia. President Theodore Roosevelt therefore supported the cause of Panamanian independence with the canal in mind. His support paid off, and on November 18, 1903, the United States signed the High Bunau-Varilla Treaty, establishing permanent U.S. rights to a Panama Canal zone that stretched across the isthmus. So there are two treaties that were submitted to the United States Senate. The first one was called the Treaty Concerning the Permanent Neutrality and Operation of the Panama Canal, or the Neutrality Treaty, stated that the United States could use its military to defend the Panama Canal against any threat to its neutrality, thus allowing perpetual U.S. usage of the canal. The second, called the Panama Canal Treaty, stated that the Panama Canal Zone would cease to exist on October 1st of 1979. And the canal itself would be turned over to the Panamanians on December 31st of 1999. These two treaties were signed on September 7th, 1977. Yeah, in December of 1989, George H.W. Bush ordered an invasion of Panama to remove the Panamanian leader Manuel Noriega from power. Because Manuel Noriega was basically funneling all of the white powder into the United States on behalf of Colombia, essentially. They were like a hub. Everything went through there, so they removed him from power. By 1999, however, relations had grown more peaceful, and the canal was turned over to the Panamanians, who have administered it ever since. Yeah, I think they were just trying to give the land back with like the promise that, hey, look, we'll give this land back to you, but you're going to let our military use it anytime we want, and we get priority. It will be considered a neutral zone. It'll never be taken over by like another military that like prevents people from using it. I think that was kind of the purpose for that. Anyway, let's continue.
During his term in office, it was solely for Panama to manage and not for China or any other country to manage. You see what's going on there? China. It was likewise not given for Panama to charge the United States, its Navy, and its corporations doing business within our country exorbitant prices and rates of passage, which they do. They charge us like it's a disgrace. Our Navy and commerce have been treated in a very unfair and injudicious way. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, highly unfair, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama, I say very foolishly, by the United States. This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop. It's going to stop. The United States has a big and vested interest in the secure, efficient, and reliable operation of the Panama Canal. And that was always understood when they gave it to Panama. Can you believe that? We would never have done it if we thought what's happening now can happen, and we would never, and we will never, ever let it fall into the wrong hands. But it's falling into the wrong hands. It was not given for the benefit of others by a token of cooperation, but it was given to Panama and to the people of Panama, but it has provisions. You got to treat us fairly, and they haven't treated us fairly. If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to the United States of America in full, quickly, and without question. I'm not going to stand for it. So to the officials of Panama, please be guided accordingly.
Interesting. So he's talking about possibly taking the Panama Canal back, I guess. I don't know. Interesting. I think, so the point of him saying this probably is because of the fact that China is all over South America, whether people want to believe it or not. And they're doing their whole Belt and Road initiative where they're just trying to influence countries through money and technology and loans and all that stuff. And you can look up what the Belt and Road Initiative is on a separate occasion and just take a look and see what kind of things they've been doing in South America, because China's been all over South America trying to influence every nation down there, using money and all kinds of stuff. And that's like our neighbors. So that's why a lot of people are like up in arms about this whole thing, because they know that China's influence down there is significant, and they are having a negative impact on relations that the U.S. has with the nations down there. Now, obviously, the relationship that the U.S. has with South America has changed a lot over the years. It's shifted, in one direction or another. But But something else that I think is important is the Panamanian president made a response video to this. Let's give that one a listen and see what he has to say.
Compatriotas, como presidente, quiero expresar de manera precisa que cada metro cuadrado del Canal de Panamá y su zona adyacente es de Panamá y lo seguirá siendo. La soberanía e independencia de nuestro país no son negociables. Cada panameño, aquí o en cualquier lugar del mundo, lo lleva en su corazón y es parte de nuestra historia de lucha y una conquista irreversible. Los tratados Torrijos-Carter de 1977 acordaron la disolución de la ex zona del canal, reconociendo la soberanía panameña y la entrega completa del canal a Panamá, que finalizó el 31 de diciembre de 1999, y pronto celebraremos los 25 años de esta transferencia. Desde entonces, no hubo objeciones ni reclamos. Al contrario, ha sido motivo de fuerte apoyo internacional y orgullo nacional. Se operó y amplió por decisión panameña y hoy representa un gran activo que aporta miles de millones de dólares a nuestra economía anualmente. Estos tratados también establecieron la neutralidad permanente del canal, garantizando su funcionamiento abierto y seguro para todas las naciones, tratado que ha obtenido la adhesión de más de 40 estados. Cualquier posición contraria carece de validez o sustento ante la faz de la tierra. Nuestro canal tiene la misión de servir a la humanidad y su comercio. Ese es uno de los grandes valores que los panameños ofrecemos al mundo, dándole garantía a la comunidad internacional de no tomar parte ni ser parte activa en conflicto alguno. Desde que está en manos panameñas, el canal creció. Es administrado por profesionales idóneos, quienes con reglas claras se encargan de su funcionamiento, conservación y mantenimiento, asegurando su operación segura, continua, eficiente y rentable. Las tarifas no son un capricho. Se establecen de manera pública y en audiencia abierta, considerando las condiciones del mercado, la competencia internacional, los costos operativos y las necesidades de mantenimiento y modernización de la vía interoceánica. Así logramos la ampliación del canal en 2016, que hoy representa mayor crecimiento económico y comercial, generando más riqueza y oportunidades en todo el mundo y su comercio. El canal no tiene control directo o indirecto ni de China, ni de la Comunidad Europea, ni de Estados Unidos o de cualquier otra potencia. Como panameño rechazo enérgicamente cualquier manifestación que tergiverse esta realidad y seguirá estando en manos panameñas como patrimonio inalienable de nuestra nación y garantizando su uso para el tránsito pacífico e ininterrumpido de naves de todas las naciones, como lo establece la Constitución y el Tratado de Neutralidad. Ese es el mayor tributo que merecen los mártires del 9 de enero de 1964, quienes sacrificaron sus vidas en la lucha por la soberanía y dignidad de nuestro país, y todos los panameños que participaron en una lucha generacional sin precedentes. Panamá respeta a las demás naciones y exige respeto. Con el nuevo gobierno de Estados Unidos, aspiro a conservar y mantener una buena y respetuosa relación. Temas de seguridad como la migración ilegal, el narcotráfico, el terrorismo y el crimen organizado deben ser prioridad en nuestra agenda bilateral, ya que son una amenaza real que nos debe preocupar y mucho. Los panameños podemos pensar diferente en muchos aspectos, pero cuando se trata de nuestro canal y nuestra soberanía, nos unimos todos bajo una única bandera, la de Panamá. Somos un país abierto al diálogo, hoy y siempre, a las inversiones y a las buenas relaciones, pero con la clara consigna que la patria está en primer lugar. Eso, para este presidente panameño, no es negociable.
Gobierno Nacional, con paso firme.
In any case, that's kind of how it went down. President-elect Donald Trump gave some comments at a Turning Point USA convention, and then the president of Panama gave his response statements afterwards. So I'm not here to tell you what to think about any of it. I just figured I would relay the information because I found it interesting, and I figured you would too. And especially since there's not been any like translation of what he said out there. I haven't seen any videos of it anyway. So I figured that'd be something that people would find interesting, and you could get some better context of like what he was saying and how he felt about what the president-elect was saying. And either way, it's going to be an interesting 4 years, so I don't know what's going to happen with this or if there's going to be any follow-up as far as the Panama Canal is concerned. I do know that it's going to be a topic that's probably going to be brought up again in the future. And I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens of it, what it turns into. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next video.